Hello, Dawn here from Dawn's Inspirations. You may have seen on today's Facebook Live with Pink Frog that I was using 12 by 12 cardstock, and I thought let's do a really quick scrapbook layout using the 12 by 12 Super Smooth, because this is also acid and lignin free. So I've gathered a photograph. I've just cut this down to 4 inches by 4 inches in size. I'm using one, but actually on this layout I'm going to show you a way you could use more than one. So I'm going to do a really quick layout. Now I thought, what papers can I use? So I'm using bits and pieces I've got left. So I've been using this collection for another project. This is the Art and Creative Studio. This is Hidden Creek. So these are some scraps I've got left, which would be perfect for this. I've got some rub-ons, I've got some bits of ephemera left and laser cuts, so I'm going to be using those. But this is a really quick super layout you can do using scraps and bits and pieces you've got left. So one piece of 12 by 12 Super Smooth, and the camera is going to go berserk as it's obviously white, it's going to set it off. And I picked out some ink colours that I fancy using. I'm wondering if that one might be a bit too dark. I am deciding, because I might go, if I can find it, my Faded Jeans, but if not, we'll go with that one. I think we're going to have to go with that one. So I've got Enchanted Mariner, Peeled Paint and Fossilised Amber. And the reason I picked these is they're going to match with the paper collection really nicely. Okay, so I'm using Distress Oxides. You could use normal distress inks, any water-based ink you've got really. Don't be too precious about it. Okay, so just have fun with this layout. This is what this is about, and I'm just using obviously one sheet of the Super Smooth. So I'm going to start off with the Fossilised Amber, and we're going to do, I'm going at an angle now because we're going to do strokes. Okay, we're going to create a background for this. So I'm going to pop my ink pad on and I'm just going to swipe it up the paper, just randomly like that. Okay, don't get too hung up about it, just go with it, just have some fun with it. So let's go in with a bit of the blue. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, it's not meant to be perfect, because we're going to add bits to this as well. Now let's go in with a bit of the peeled paint. So I brush that over. I'm liking the distressed look more of the blue actually. It's interesting, isn't it, when it comes out. Let's see if I can get this one more distressed. There we go. I think that is a good base for what I'm looking for. Okay, now Super Smooth is acid lignin free from Pink Frog, so you know you can use that on your scrapbooking. So that's perfect. So I've created my sort of swipes, we call them. So now I'm going to pop some of the ink pad just down on my mat. Made a blob there, but don't worry about it because we can always stick something on it. So I'm just doing some blobs on my mat of the colours. Okay, so I'll pop the colours down here so you can see them. Okay, for those that you can see exactly what I've got going on. I'm going to get my water spritzer and I'm just going to add a little bit of water. Might have to go over a little bit. That's it. And I'm just going to pick up some of that colour and just add some splashes. Again, I'm going this time, I've done the swipes going up and I'm going this time in a diagonal across this way. Okay, so in between I will wipe my brush. So let's put a bit of green on. So again, just taking that colour up. I'm going a bit more on the white at the bottom and top corner because that's where you're going to see it. And then we'll pick up some blue and we'll add a bit of blue too. So there we go. I think I'm happy with how that is looking. So let me just tidy up my desk. So just using 3 colours there. Okay, nothing more than the 3 colours. Now you know with the Pink Frog Super Smooth you're not going to have any problems with your paper buckling and warping. You've seen I've thrown quite a lot of this at this already. I'll just give this a little quick dry. There we go. So I'm going to pop that to one side because that's still got a little few wet bits, but I'm going to pop that to one side. It's not a problem. In fact, I've just looked at my camera. My screen has got a splattered paint on it. All good fun. So let's get the paper trimmer out now. Now I'm wondering if I've got a bit on my lens. It does look like I have. See, I've got carried away. Let's wipe that lens. There we go, that's better. So I got so carried away with my splatters. I've never had that happen before. How strange. So paper trimmer out now. So now let me go through my paper that I've got left from what I've used. So I'm looking for 3 pieces that I can use that are 4 inches by 4 inches. So I've got a piece there. That will do. And the nice thing about using a paper collection is you know all the colours work together. I can use a piece of that. Some of these are a bit smaller, so I might have to cut into a bigger piece. Yes, and so I'm going to have to cut into this one because my other pieces are a bit smaller, but that's not a problem. So I've got 3 pieces there. So now let's cut these down to 4 inches by 4 inches. See, look, there's this way round as well. There's too many nice things to use on this collection, but I'm going to go here. Let's come down. In fact, we don't need to. So I'm going to come down at 4 and I'm going to cut up to 4. I first did this layout, I was looking at it during lockdown. So it shows how many years ago I've done it. I've done it in several different ways, different papers, different inks. It looks totally different every time you use it. That's the nice thing about it. So it's a great one to sort of go back to. So now let's go up with this one, 4 inches, and then cut that down. Let me move my trimmer up. So I'm just doing 3 squares that are 4 inch by 4 inch. So that's 2, and the last one here, I think we'll have a bit more of the distress look going on. So 4 by 4. Okay, that's all good. And then I've taken a piece of cardstock. This is the Pink Frog Dark Blue, and I've cut this at 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, but I've done a score line in the middle. Okay, because this means then I can fold this in half. Let me move my trimmer out of the way. Give this a little burnish, because then this can act as my photo mat. But I've got the added addition of I can put my hidden journaling in here, but I could also add an extra photograph here. Now for hidden journaling, I like to use the Pink Frog 160 GSM super smooth paper. So I've got some just here. So this is their 160. And the nice thing about this is you can pop this through your printer, all sorts. Use it for inserts. So I'm going to cut a piece of that for my hidden journaling. So we'll trim that. In fact, this time I'm going to go 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. I will have it a little bit smaller. Okay, so that can be for my hidden journaling. Okay, so that's going to go onto there. And what I'm going to do is, because I may replace this with one that I popped through the printer, I haven't decided yet, might do it by hand. I'm going to use my photo glue to stick it, and then this means at a later stage, if I want to remove it to change it with a printed one, I can do. So that is going to go on the inside. So that's my hidden journal spot, so I've not got to worry about a tag. Give that a little burnish down. And while I've got my photo glue out, let's attach the photo onto here. I'm not going to double mat this one, keeping this one as a single mat. So that can go onto there. So that can just be put to one side to dry, because your photo glue does take a little bit longer to dry. So we'll pop that to one side, and then while I'm here, I'm going to ink the edges of the paper that I've just cut. So let's just ink those edges to take that just cut look off those. And I'm going back in again with the blue, because I've gone with the dark blue with the photo mat. Okay. But I think the colours I've picked will work really nicely with this one. Now, as you know, I normally do my Craft With Me's live, but because of time restraints, that's why this one is a video this time. So I'm going to try, if I can't get time to do it as a live, to do it as a video, but I will upload it at the correct time of Wednesday at 4 PM. But you can check out the playlist on my Dawn's Inspirations YouTube channel, because that's where they all are, and you'll see notifications as well on my Facebook page. Okay, so I've got all those ready, I've got that ready. So let's start putting this together. This should be all nicely dry now, which it is. So I could add more splatters on that. I could add more, you know, things with acrylic blocks onto there. But I personally think we've got enough on here. So if I start bringing this sort of together, let's just bring, I'm just literally, in fact that's probably better up there, and I'm bringing them in. Normally with scrapbooking you go at a cross or a triangle, but I'm bringing them in. Now this will flap up for now, but once you've got that in your page protector, it will come down better. So I'm quite happy with how that's looking, and don't be too hung up with it not being straight. The idea with this layout is it's not straight. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that one flat because that one's flapping, but I'm going to 3D these two. So let's get some foam pads so I can 3D those two to stick down. I could go in with some silicone glue, but I've got Pink Frog foam pads here with me today, so we're going to use those. Alright, so let's just stick that onto there, and I'll pop one in the middle just because. Don't want a saggy middle. So, and it's quite nice sometimes to have some things 3D, some things flat, because it adds a little bit more interest to your scrapbook layouts. Okay, so I'm happy with how they're looking. So I think the first one I'm going to stick down. So let's just bring them back in position again. I think the first one I'm going to stick down is the photograph one. And can you see what I mean now when I said about don't be too hung up about your stripes, because you're not seeing a lot of it. If anything, you're seeing more of the pieces at the bottom and top. Okay, so let's stick the photo one, I think, down first. So I'm going in with the EVA glue again, because this is acid and lignin free, so perfect for our scrapbooking needs. So I'm going to pop that one at a nice little jaunty angle there. Spread that out. This one's 3D, so you see that can sort of go over there to help us a bit of a stopper while we get going on that. I'm going to have that one, I think, about there, so this one can go flat. So we go flat about there, and then we'll take the backs off the 3D ones. So literally I've only used a sheet of 12 by 12 and a little scrap of the 12 by 12. It was actually a piece out of my bit box for this. So it just shows with a few supplies what you can pop together. I'm just thinking I might overlap. I want to have a bit of that showing through. So I'm going to go there. So I've got a little bit of that ink background showing through there. I haven't measured it to make sure it's in the middle. If you're really OCD about things like that, you can. I think sometimes it's quite nice to do it by eye. It gives a more natural look. Okay, so we'll pop. And that one can help stopper that down as well. And I'm going to come over a little bit more there, so I've got a bit of that showing in between. So I'm happy with that as the start. So let me pop my lid just on my glue, so we can then bring some of the extra little pieces out. So I'm going to put my ink pads to one side, because you've actually seen what colours I've used now. Pop them up there. Don't need my ruler, so let's get out this tray of extra bits and pieces that I had. Let's move the papers there. I don't think I'm going to use any rub-ons. We'll see. I might come back to it. I'll see. Now, I thought straight away, no, I'm going to have to move things again. Let's move that way. I was thinking straight away, obviously we need a title. Now, in the embellishment pack, there are lots of lovely titles you can use. And I found Wander and Wonder, and I found Explore More. And I thought either of those work really well with this, because this is me with my husband and my 2 children. This was Mother's Day. We had a day out in London for Mother's Day, because my daughter lives in London. So that's why I thought it just works. So actually, either of those would work, but I'm popping that on there, and I like the colour of that. But then I'm also liking the colour of that. But I think I'm going to do Wonder and Wander, because we had a lovely wander around London. We just took it as we found it. We just went with it. So let's think of a few extra things we've got. We've got Enjoy the Journey. This is the best day. remember this is always good, things like this, for putting the date on. So yes, you've got your hidden journal spot, but it's really good for adding the date for things. So these can always be added up here, down here, along the bottom. So I'm keeping that one in mind. I love this ticket element as well, so I might use that. So there's just lots of bits and pieces that can be used here. I like that way around. I might go in here. Let's just have a look in this one. And this is what this is about. This is about using scraps of paper you've got, especially when you've done a done a main thing with your collection, and then also going to see what else there is. So I like these laser cuts because they're dual-sided, which I think is quite nice. And I've got an admit one there, and there's another one there of a different size. In fact, I'm going to go with that tag because I like that. So let's have that. So I have that one there as well. See what I mean about the fact they're dual-sided? So you could actually stamp the date you're there on the back of these if you wished, and put those on. So let's go with a few more bits to pop on here. I always love a butterfly, so butterfly's definitely got to come on here. I think even, I know we're in London, but there's nothing stopping adding a bit of greenery. There is greenery in London as well, and this is the nice thing about this kit. It can take you lots of different places. There's a few butterflies. I need sort of that sort of colour, I think, like a yellowy one, I think, to come on. So I'm just going through. Oh, found one. That's a smaller one than I would like, but that ties in a bit more with the yellow. I need some pieces behind here. That can go behind there. I like that there the best. But there's just some beautiful words in here that you're gonna just use. They're just perfect. I'm thinking I might just go with a bit more greenery there. Let's have a look on the die cut, the laser cuts again, and see if I've got anything, because I don't want it too big. I quite like that one there actually. Let's pop this one out. But it's great to see what you can make scrapbook wise with very few supplies. That's the nice thing about it. So let's pop that behind. I'm going to 3D this word as well. I'm going to bring that white piece. I'm just wondering where to put the date one. I'd like another piece like that. Let me see what we've got. Oh, we see, this is it. There's so much choice. I've just found some more bits in this one. Oh dear. Found some more bits in this laser cut one. What have we got here? Live in the moment, capture moments. We want to be there. Here, we want to be here. Best friends together. What else have we got here? Well, it wasn't a selfie, so I suppose we could put viewpoint, because it was a viewpoint. It was Tower Bridge. So I suppose that would fit in there, because that's picking out some of the light blue going on there as well. So I like that. I'm liking that. I think we might have a few more butterflies. I can feel the need for butterflies. So let's see what other... Oh, look, we got some... That's a bigger one. I like that one. That's a bigger one. That can go there. And then I can have a smaller one down here. And then I need another smaller one there, because then that's your rule of threes. Okay. So rule of threes is where you add 3 of anything. It's kinder on the eye. I'm quite happy with how that's looking. I'm going to stop, because you do get to a point where you end up adding the kitchen sink, as I say, to it, and then that can be far too much. So let's start adding a few of these. I'm going to 3D the word to start with, because by raising that up I can poke stuff behind as well. So I just pop one on there for now, and I've got some silicone glue I can use as well. So just pull the back off there. So I'm going to pop that about there. Right, we'll do this one first. This is the nice thing with these laser cuts, they're dual-sided, so you can have them either way you want. But I'm going the way I am. So a little bit of glue on there. I'm going to poke that just under there like that, and the same with this one. This can come out because it's got that white, it just helps break that down. I'm going to 3D that one as well. Now where's my silicone gel? It's going to be not in, oh, it's right in front of me. Oh dear me. Oh dear dear. Right, so let's take a little bit of silicone gel for that one, so I can raise that up. But you can start just building the bits along. I think I'm going to 3D my butterfly as well, because it's under, and I'm just going to pop it just on there with the words. So these I'm going to do half on, half off, so they're sort of coming out. I'm going to have them coming straight. So lots to journal about this one, because obviously it was lovely to all be together for Mother's Day, because my son has been out in the States at university for the last 4 years. So it was my first Mother's Day with him back home, which was fabulous. And just nice to all get together as a family, which is what it's all about. Now I'm going to stick this one on the top of here. Now another thing I haven't explained is doing a layout like this. I know a lot of you have bought into the 12 by 12 folios that I do, and the ones that Pink Frog bring you. This could be a page in your folios, your 12 by 12 folios. This could quite easily be a page in your folios. So don't think just because this is a scrapbook layout that it's only scrapbooking. It's not. You're going to be able to use this in your folios and memory books as well. It just gives you a different idea of how you will use them. It's just building up those elements. I don't think I'm going to put that on there, because I'm going to do that with my hidden journaling and put the date. I'm going to leave that as it is, because I think that looks absolutely, I just love it. The ink colours work. Just one sheet of the 12 by 12 The ink colours work perfectly. I've been able to use the end of a paper collection that I had, and I've still got more to go, so that means I can do more layouts of a similar vein, and you'll probably see some more coming up as well. And yes, I had to go and buy some more of this paper collection because I love it. Now I did have my little splat there, and I'm wondering if there's something on the rub-ons that I could hide that with. You always say you've got a butterfly somewhere, haven't you? But I don't want to put a butterfly there, it's going to be too big. I'm just wondering if I can use a part of the rub-on just to hide it, and I think I can. I think I'm going to go with that one. So with your rub-ons, I like to cut what I'm using out first, because then you don't damage the rest of your rub-ons. So cut it out first, take the protective backing off. Okay, I'm going to bring that in like that so it looks like it's meant to be there. So I'm off the page slightly, that's absolutely fine. So just use the lolly stick you've got in there, or you can use your bone folder, it doesn't matter. And then peel back gradually. There's a little bit there still not caught. There we go, I'm happy with that just there. And I'm thinking I might do something up here to balance it out. It needs something to balance. So let's have a look what else we've got. Oh, I could put a bit of that wording in there just to balance. I don't think I need... I might go with the blue actually, because that's a bit yellow there. I think I'm going to go with this blue. Or actually, yes, it's the same one, Dawn. It's because you get 2 sheets of each. So I think I'm going to go with this. That will break down a bit more of that yellow. So I can sort of position that in there. That will be fine. So let's cut round that a bit more. Remove that plastic backing. So that would just help balance that bit with that bit. So I'm just going to turn that while I give that a rub down. So I'm using my lolly stick as I said, but you can very easily go in with your bone folder, okay, because I'm using a Teflon bone folder here, and you know that's nice and strong. And actually if I open this up, can you see it's partly gone on my card, which I quite like actually. I think that looks very effective. And yes, I could use, once I've done my journaling, add some rub-ons over the wording as well, like a watermark. A bit there not taken. Grab the nearest thing to me. There we go. So now let's bring that down now. So your scrapbook layout's got your journaling, which I'm going to put my date in there. It's got my title. It's got my little embellishments. It's got everything that it needs. All perfectly done. All acid and lignin free. So absolutely perfect. So I hope you've enjoyed this little craft with me. #8, and I look forward to seeing you again in another craft with me. I'm Dawn from Dawn's Inspirations. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do, and you can find me over on social media as well to see what else is coming up. Bye for now.